The third Toastmaster Real One Alebiosu. And the fourth is Toastmaster Leah Minion. Apologies if I murder your name. And for the international speech, we have the first speaker, Toastmaster Leah Minion. The second, Toastmaster Real One Alebiosu. The third, Toastmaster Ahmed Mwazu. And the last speaker is going to be Toastmaster Elizabeth Elue. Thank you very much. Kindly take notes. Without further ado, I would like to invite our third speaker with a speech title, Understanding the Process. Understanding the Process. Without further ado, join me. Let's welcome Toastmaster Eboti Belisha to the lecture.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Looks like the contestants are nervous. Good evening, contestants.
Good evening.
Thank you. When you hear the word process, what comes to your mind? The idea is successful, but the reality is process. And process consists of three things. 1, consistency. 2, accountability. 3, feedback, or we could say growth. There used to be one beautiful girl born into an average wealthy family. She had everything she wanted. At some point when she was in secondary school, she said she wanted to be a medical doctor, and she also wants to be a lawyer. She had chances of switching class. Today you see her in the science class, tomorrow she's in the arts class. It was so easy for her that she felt like, oh, that's what life is. I can get it when I want it. Growing up, reality came knocking at her door. Although she graduated professionally as a medical doctor, now she said she wants to be a chef, a professional chef. She had to register in one culinary school. One morning she woke up on Instagram scrolling, and then she saw an ad for an interior design class. She said, oh, I think I should be an interior designer too. Immediately she registered for that professional 3-month intensive class. Mind you, she just registered for a culinary professional class. Only for her to resume. She went for the professional interior class today. The next day she went to the culinary class, and they told her that no, your days are Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Same thing as the interior class, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Now she has to pick her struggles. So this is not what it is. When I was in secondary school, I could go to an art class and tomorrow I'm in science class. What do I do? She decided to stick to the interior class. Mind you, there's no refund. So the money she has invested for this professional culinary class is gone. 2 weeks into interior design, she started making posts of few jobs from the lectures and everything. And then she was able to get to her target audience. Somebody reached out to her, please, we just realized that you're an interior designer. Can you work for us? She said, yes, why not? A meeting was scheduled. She went there, had conversations. They took her to the site. She did everything she needed to do as a survey, and then went back home. They sent her an email to send her budgeting for the job. Guess what? She went online, checked prices on Google, and she was able to pay the budget for that job. She sent them the budget worth 80 million naira. They said, wow, interesting. But you're sure you're going to deliver this job? She said, absolutely. I'm a professional interior designer, a certified one. For somebody who just started 2 weeks in interior design. So they sent the money to her, 80 million naira. She was so excited. Even if I was her, I would be very excited. She called all her friends and decided to go for an outing with her friends. She paid for all of the outing. She told 3 of her friends that, please send your passport. I'm going to take you for an all-paid expense trip. Mind you, she had 80 million in her account. She booked for the all-paid expense trip, took her friends to Qatar. They had fun, they explored, they did everything for 7 days trip. And then now they got back. This is the reality. She said it's it's time for me to start this job. Let me go to the market for survey. She went to a shop where they have good couch, as it is expected for the job. Only for her to realize that this couch needed is 15 million. I said, oh, okay. Let me go for lighting. Hello, how much will it cost? This is the kind of lighting I want. Sorry, ma. Okay, this lighting, this is the amount for it. Can I see the other amount? Something lesser. The less of the lighting, the lesser price is 10 million naira. And she's going to work in a 5-bedroom apartment. At the end of the day, she has undercharged these people. That project is worth over 150 million naira. So what is she expected to do? She said, okay, let me go and pay for consultation for a professional interior designer. She went for consultation and the interior designer said, okay, I'm going to charge you 2 million naira for consultation. She reached it. Remember that she just got back from a vacation. She has already eaten from the profits. She reached it, went for that consultation, paid 2 million naira. After the consultation, they are supposed to give her 3D designs, which she's expected to submit to the people for the job. They started calling her for the job. Please, can we get the 3D design for the job? Let's see what it is. Can we get the 3D design? Now, 3D design for each of that 5-bedroom is worth 3 million naira. What will she do? She just got to realize that there is a whole lot involved. That is what happens when you want to escape the process. For somebody who just had 2 weeks in interior design, now she had to call them and said, okay, I think I need more time. Can I send you half of the money right now? I don't think I can go on with this job. They said, what is the problem? As I'm talking to you, she's still on the run. Because it's either she makes a refund or she executes the job. So the question is, what happens to the process? She had all the chances to learn. There's nothing wrong in partnership. Now the process exposes you to a whole lot of things. That's why I said, first of all, consistency. You always have to show up. You need to be consistent. It might seem slow. I know everybody, most people can be jack of all trades and master of all, but it doesn't work for everybody. And that is why consistency is needed. Secondly, accountability. Learn to be accountable. In your career path, in your personal path, professionally, learn to be accountable. You can't keep dodging around from the process and think it's going to work. And then 3, feedback. That is why we have the Toastmasters platform, where you're open to feedback to enable you grow. Because one step at a time is all it takes to get there. That is one of my favorite quotes by Emily Dixon. So when you leave here today, ask yourself the question, how far can you go on the process? Do you wake up and say, I'm tired, I cannot do it anymore? Even in the Toastmasters platform, one step at a time. The process is continuous, from one pathway to another pathway. So, thank you so much, and try to understand the process.
Thank you so much, and try to understand the process. Timer, 5 minutes for our contestants. timer, 5 minutes. We good?
Still running.
Okay.
Thirteen more seconds.
Thank you very much, timer. So for the contestants, kindly take notes before you go out. Your speaking arena is from here to this place. If you go anything above this, the judges have a say in your display or your presentation. Other than that, Sergeant at Arms, with the exception of Toastmaster Elizabeth, can you escort the remaining contestants out? Please make sure they go beyond Women's Center. Yeah, it's okay.
Just wait your name.
Okay, I believe no contestant in the house. Okay, thank you very much. With the thunderous applause, let's welcome the first contestant, Toastmaster Elizabeth Elue, to the lectern.
How many of you understand the process? Good evening, contest chair, Toastmasters, and guests.
Good evening.
Kudos to our wonderful speaker, Toastmaster Felicia Eboti. You will all agree with me that that speech was delivered professionally. A round of applause for our wonderful The lessons from a professional test speaker like we had today are worth listening to and sharing across groups. One thing I love that she did so well was that she had content. Her speech had content. She talked about process which involves consistency, accountability, and feedback. As a professional speaker, it's important to know that the content, it is the words of the speech. It makes the speech worth listening to. Another interesting thing our test speaker did was audience engagement. She came and cracked a joke and said, it's like our contestants are tensed. And this broke down the walls between the speaker and the audience. For my recommendation, I recommend 1, strategic pauses. It's important, especially when she got to the point of, can you guess how much this the character quoted for her quote, she would have paused there to give the audience time to sink in and to connect with her story. The importance of strategic pauses is that it grabs attention and it creates anticipation. It also adds emphasis and drama to your message. Another area of recommendation I would like to give her is to maintain eye contact as much as possible. For most times, I saw that her eyes were face down or not maintaining eye contact with the audience. Eye contact shows respect, it shows attention, and it shows professionalism. Another thing I loved about her speech was her smile. There's something magical about a smile. For a lot of people, before you eat a food, you eat it with your eyes first. Before you hear what someone is saying, you look at their face, and their face is welcoming enough for you to hear what they have to say. I believe that if Toastmaster Belisha Eboti combines a good content with storytelling, strategic pauses, eye contact, and maintains her delectable and amazing smile, her subsequent speeches will be over the top. The contest.
A minute silence. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Elizabeth. A minute silence for the judges. Sergeant at Arms, help us with Toastmaster Ahmed Mohamed. Thank you very much, timer. And to our second contestant, Toastmaster Ahmed Moazu, to the lectern. Please, with a round of applause.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening.
Good evening.
All. It was actually a very captivating and persuasive speech. Understanding the process. That's the topic itself says a lot to all of us in the room. The speaker, by starting with a question, actually shows a lot of audience, quoted audience engagement, which attracted the attention of all of us. And we were glued to her until the end of her speech. Delivery, the good use of hand gestures was actually appreciated. The content was good. The opening, the body, the closing were all tied to the title of the speech. And they follow a logical sequence until the call to action. The speech actually flowed very well with the topic and the title of the speech. Her use of homo, where she said the subject of the speech was still on the run, actually made all of us to laugh, which is a good thing, and we encourage her continue in that regard. Time management. The speaker was able to finish within the allotted time she has, and that's a very good thing to do. Her body language, she needs to improve on the body language. Especially when she was telling us about the 3 models, she needs to actually use maybe her hand or something to show us that, okay, this is how it is. The use of body language. I believe she needs a lot of improvement there. Her vocal variety also needs improvement because she needs to be turning up and down to flow with the speech. Her closing punch was really very excellent because it is tied very well to her opening point. Overall, the speech was very persuasive and inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Timer, a minute for judges. Thank you very much, Timer. And the third speaker, Toastmaster Rilwan Alebioshu, to the lecture.
One step at a time is all it takes to get there. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Eboti, for that lovely quote and your lovely speech. Who agrees with that assertion? One step at a time. Your speech was well structured. It was an impeccable speech that met Toastmaster standard. It had an opening where he gave us a rhetorical question. When you hear the word process, what comes to mind? And I'm sure at that point, we started reflecting to know what process is to each of us. We did that very well. Other things I love about your speech was your ability to gesticulate. At some point, you said, knock at the door. You described it to us. Bought the ticket. Went to Qatar. You described it to us. When you do such vivid description in your speech, what it does is that people are able to picture themselves in your story. Another thing that went well for me in your speech was the good use of storytelling. You see, what I've come to learn in Toastmasters is that you can never go wrong with a good story. And I must tell you, your story was captivating for all of us that were listening to you. For a speech this structured, lovely, and interesting to hear, what are my recommendations for you today? My first recommendation for you. At some point in your speech, you stood with your hands in front of you. And at other times, you stood with your hands behind you. Sometimes this might show your audience or come across your audience as being timid. I would say at such point, when you have inflection or reason to want to put your hands behind you, you want to hold them up or try to describe with them. My other recommendation for you today, at some point in your speech, you were leaning on the table. Don't worry, the lectern is not going to go anywhere. You held our lectern, you leaned on the table. What it does to you sometimes is that it shows like butterflies in your stomach or not having enough confidence to communicate your thoughts with the audience. Despite this, it didn't take anything away from your speech. Your speech had very good opening, body, and conclusion. You gesticulated at every point you need to gesticulate. And your rhetorical question, I would have loved that when you asked your rhetorical question, you waited for us to get response, because that is what a question is all about, is to elicit response. Overall, you gave us a splendid speech, and I can't wait to evaluate you once again. Over to you.
Timer, a minute. What the job is. Thank you very much, Timer. And to number 4 contestants, Toastmaster Leah. Toastmaster Leah.
Expressing your views, and the use of gestures and the postures was quite on point. During your presentation, which was great also, I recommend that you improve on your eye contact, because there were times when you were speaking and you were facing this part of the room and even us, and then there were times that I felt, so you were wandering off a bit. What I also recommend is that you keep projecting your voice. I admire your command of English and the practical examples which you gave, which sounds as a message to everyone sitting in this room this evening to trust the process and take accountability.
Thank you very much. Timer, 5 minutes for our judges. So for you, so while waiting for our judges, is there any guest in the house? Any guest in the house? Please, if you stand up for us, let's welcome her. have 5 seconds to introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Michelle Ojong, and I am a staff of Corporate Communications and Investor Relations Department, and I'm a prospective Toastmaster.
Please join me. Okay. Our prospective Toastmaster, Michelle. Trust the process. You have within 1 to 2 minutes, express yourself, trust the process. What do you think about the title or the theme, trust the process?
The title is, how do I put it? It's something that it's like encouraging. It teaches one to believe in themselves and know that, okay, there are processes to everything. You don't just wake up and then you get somewhere. You have to start step by step until you get there. Yeah.
You have 1 to 2 minutes. She deserves a resounding applause. I encourage you to join Toastmasters. That one, you can deliver your impromptu speech anywhere in the world. Thank you very much. Any other guests?
We have a new member
A new member.
that is coming for the first time.
Please, can you raise your hand? Thank you very much. Please, you have 10 seconds to introduce yourself. 10 seconds to introduce yourself.
My name is Dr. Sunday Moro. I'm in Finance Department.
Finance Department. Thank you very much. And the question goes, if you had the opportunity to serve as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what one thing would you change within 48 hours?
Within 48 hours.
One thing I'll change, I believe in the politics. And I want to be the Vice President of the JCC in this central bank. And in my time, I think I've been able to change a lot of things, which I can be able to testify. So if I'm the president of this country, I believe I can bring the politics because a lot of things is going on, which we can be able to choose at our table. So from the president, I can be able to do that.
You have 1 to 2 minutes.
If I'm the president of this country, I can be able to bring things, bring change in a lot of process. Because we're talking about process just now. There are processes that are not okay. Ordinarily, everybody, if you look at this country compared to the other country, there are things that are not okay. Especially like driving on the road now. You can see somebody will see the traffic and he will beat the traffic. There are processes you can put in, even passing it on the way your registration number will show. If you want to register it to be casual and your levy is waiting for you. It's a process you
Thank you very much, sir. And I hope one day you become the president of
By the
Thank you. Our Chief Judge, are we good?
Yes.
1 minute. All right. For the international speech contest, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And the first speaker for the International Speech Contest with the title, The Power of Progress. The Power of Progress. With the thunderous applause, let's welcome Toastmaster Leah to the lecture.
Picture a small seed, probably a mustard seed, dry, unimpressive, invisible in the palm of your hand. If you didn't know better, you would mistake it for dust. But yet, in that tiny little seed is a blueprint for a towering big tree. It is not perfect from the beginning, but yet it embraced progress season after season. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests.
Good evening.
Today, I want to speak about this quiet, transforming force that transforms seeds into forests, dreams into realities, and ordinary people into extraordinary versions of themselves. The power of progress. A seasoned scientist once said, "It used about 4 years to grow nothing but seeds beneath the soil, and sprout about 90 feet into the air within 1 year. Nothing, then boom, this big towering tree." And that is the power of progress. But that sudden growth didn't just happen overnight. It took time. And isn't that how our lives are? We spend days, probably weeks, researching and practicing for a presentation. We spend hours, probably, hitting the gym or taking walks consistently. We study overnight for an examination, or we take on one difficult skill at a time. At first, there is no one to applaud us. There's no evidence that we're even putting in effort, and probably no result. But deep inside, roots are being formed, skills are being strengthened, habits are being built, and our characters are taking shape. Progress may be quiet, but it is never absent. I learned this lesson the hard way. I used to chase perfection. I loved being perfect. I wanted to have the perfect, I'm an auditor, so I wanted to have the perfect reports. I didn't want my I's not to be dotted or my T's to be crossed. I wanted to have the perfect routine, the perfect life. I set some impossible standards for myself that when I failed, it seemed as if, I had failed. My Scorpio exam, which I took in 2010, I abandoned that course because I had failed the first exam by 8 points. I learned that, you don't have to be held hostage by your impossible goals. Here's the truth, that your gym visit doesn't require perfection. It just requires you to be consistent. Learning a skill also doesn't require perfection. It just wants you to practice. Achieving goals or your certifications doesn't want you to be perfect. It just wants you to put one step forward and keep going. I think I should reconsider taking my Scorpio examination again. While perfection screams all or nothing, progress whispers, keep going, don't stop. Progress gives you permission to try and grace when you feel at it.
The author of Atomic Habits, James Clear, describes it that, we just need to make 1% improvement every day and we become 37 times better by the end of the year. Not because each improvement was huge, but because they stack. Let me also illustrate with this example. When I started here at Toastmasters, I couldn't stand and speak in front of a whole crowd like this. But I just kept on showing up each time and deliver a speech. I learned how to get a smoother maybe transition. I learned to gesticulate better, maybe improve my posture, and also improve my timing. It helped me because I didn't just become a slightly better speaker, but a much improved version of myself. We sometimes underestimate the power of small gains because we can't see it immediately. Let us because that compound effect will add up later. Setbacks don't erase progress. They prove that we are moving. Progress isn't about avoiding mistakes. It is about learning from them. And every time you fail, try again. Every time you fall, rise again. You're building what perfection can never give you, which is resilience. So, what is the power of progress? It grows quietly. It frees you from perfection, and it compounds over time. And it also embraces failure as part of your journey. You don't need to plant a seed that you won't water. You need to water that seed daily with effort and protect it with patience and trust that something is growing even when you can't see it. Because the world's biggest tree, that mustard tree, that bamboo, didn't start strong. They simply started as a tiny little seed. Fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests, I challenge you today. Don't chase perfection like I used to. Chase progress and let that forest inside you rise.
Thank you. Don't chase perfection, chase progress. Let the forest inside you rise. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Leah. Timer, a minute for our judges. Thank you very much, Timer. And to the second contestant with the speech title, My Dreams. My Dreams. With the resounding applause, let's welcome Toastmaster Alebio.
Anyone here ever slept and had a dream? By show of hands. Sometimes I dream that I'm a billionaire. Sometimes I dream that I'm a rock star. But in my entire times of dreaming, there are only two dreams that comes true. The first one is that dream that you had when you were young, and you just go to the side to pee. Boom! The bed is wet. First set. And then the second set. Don't worry. Stay with me. I'll gist you about it. The contest chair, Toastmasters, and dear guests. Good evening.
Good evening.
I was telling you about my dreams. I dreamt of so many things. At some point, I even dreamt I was the president of the whole world because I listened to. I had a dream that one day my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they're not judged by the color of their skin or by the content of their character. By Martin Luther King. How many years later before his dream got fulfilled? A young officer, 5 years ago, I was told to make a presentation to a team of just 5 people. All night, I dreamt of how my presentation was going to be. D-Day came. I could feel my mouth moving, my dreams being recollected. But guess what? No words was coming out from my mouth. Butterflies were in my belly. It was an acid room, but I was sweating profusely, and my palms were very wet. Who has ever been in that awkward situation before? I'm sure. Thank God I'm not alone. At the end of the day, I was lambasted for my inability to present in front of just 5 colleagues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was sad, and I sought solution. Like an African adage, a problem shared is half solved. I told one of my colleagues, a Toastmaster, Raslan, this is my problem. I don't know why I couldn't do this presentation. I feel very bad. I'm a smart guy. I dreamt about all these things, but I couldn't say it. And she told me, don't worry. On Thursday, let's go for Toastmasters meeting. I was like, very sad. I was just telling somebody about my problem, and here she telling me to come and be toasting. What did I even do in Toastmasters? On the D-Day, I walked into this same room. I sat down quietly, and I listened to the first speech. In my mind, in my dreams, I could do better. Rubbish, I would say, the least. But then after the speech, the person received a round of applause for a speech that in my dream was rubbish. Then DTM Al-Hassan walked up the stage and he started, Al-Hassan cannot do it. And I saw it. Is this the same man that can do it? But in my dreams, he couldn't even speak as much as I can. So I made up my mind. I must join Toastmasters. My first day of my speech, I held on to the lectern as if I was going to run away with it. After my very useless speech, I received a round of applause. Then I knew something must be happening in this place. I started showing up. Every meeting I planned became a project management plan. Every time I served as a grammarian, I learned a new word. Every time I stepped up as a timer, I learned better time management. Every time I stepped up as an accountant, I was able to work on my Yoruba And every time I came up to the lectern to speak, I was conscious of the things that I was never conscious of. Don't worry, I promised you I was going to tell you the other dream that comes true. And here it is. You see, the first dream that comes true is unintentional. You just try to pee at night, boom, you graduated. The other dream that comes true is the dream that you had and you do intentionally. For me, I couldn't speak in front of 5 speakers. As a result, I joined Toastmasters. I practiced in front of the mirror. Registered for my first competition. Guess what? I came third. I didn't qualify. But then I got the plaque and I took it home. Then the next competition came. I stood in front of the mirror. I practiced, disturbed my mentor, reshaped my speech, practiced. I delivered my speech. And guess what this time around? I didn't just qualify at the club level. I didn't just qualify at the area level. I came second at the division level.
Wow.
That tells you that there are 2 sets of dreams that come true. The one that happens unintentionally and the one that happens intentionally. Dear Toastmasters and guests, dreams without actions are just hallucinations. So when you sleep and dream, make sure you put intentionality to it the way I have done. Now today, I speak not just in front of 5 people, but in front of this lovely audience, and I think I speak confidently. So I charge you all, when you dream, wake up and be intentional. Over to you.
When you dream, wake up and be intentional. Timer, as usual. Thank you very much, Timer. And to our third contestant, with the speech title, Losing is Public, Pain is Private. With the resounding applause, let's welcome Master Alfred.
Yes. Losing, in fact, not only losing, but losing and winning are public. However, the pain of losing is always private. Should we allow a private pain to let us be drilled in the achievement of our ambition? Never. We should never allow that. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I want to ask if anyone among us has ever attempted a CFA exam. Thank you so much. Because for any candidate in a CFA that attempted a CFA exam, the story will relate very well. Because the pain of failing a CFA exam was so painful that you'll be feeling as if you should never have been born. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, when I passed my level 1 CFA exam, I was actually feeling like a newly elected president of the federal government. I was smoking everywhere, majestically, singing, of course. However, after registering for the level 2 exams, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I have over a year. Then, the level 2 and level 3 exams were only written in June. You register and have almost a whole year to prepare for the exams. I prepared, did everything that I can, until when it was only few weeks to the exam. When I was doing the final preparation for the exam, I happened to be conducting the revision with fellow colleagues of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And they thought I actually know better than them. I registered to take the exam here in Abuja. That was the year when Nigeria was actually accepted by the CFA Institute as a center for writing CFA exam. Before, we have to travel overseas. We have to go, for those buoyant ones among us, the affluent ones, you either go to Dubai, some go to UK, others travel as far as, I know someone who travel as far as China, Taiwan, other places to go and write exam. In fact, many of us were using CFA exam as a form to travel overseas. That was the year when the CFA started taking the exam in Nigeria. You can either take it in Lagos or Abuja again. Because I was not confident in myself, I actually registered to take it here in Abuja. However, in the course of final preparation, as I was telling you before, I met some of my other colleagues. We are doing it together somewhere in Garki. They thought I know it better than them. All of them were registered to take the exams in Dubai. They told me that I have to follow them to Dubai for this exam because the 2 weeks that they are going to spend in Dubai, that I have to be there to be coaching them. All of us are candidates. All of us were taking the same exam, but they thought I know it better. I said, I can't do that because of the financial implication, and also because, frankly speaking, I wasn't confident in myself. I said no. The way I was floating the whole subject, answering the questions, any question that came up, I was able to answer. They sponsored me. Wow. I have to change. They paid my change of center, paid almost everything. They took me to somewhere, I can't remember, in Dubai, a Hilton hotel, actually, in Dubai. They rented a suite. I was there with them, taking them through for the almost 2 weeks. At the end of the day, on the exam day, actually, after taking the morning session, it was fair. The afternoon session was somewhat. Internally, I know it was bad. After the exam, I had some of them saying that, in fact, any one of them that said the exam was good, I internally, I know that everything is great because he does not even understand. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, to cut this story short, when the result was out, I checked my phone. I actually failed. See, they have a polite way of telling someone you have failed. Very politely, they'll just tell you that you did not pass. And that was it. Just like in Toastmasters. If they tell you that your content was very that's a polite way of telling you that you were speaking, you were not with. Don't let our private pain to cut short our future ambitions. Thank you.
Mr. Mozu, I believe gradually with that evaluation we give you, it encourages you to do more. Thank you. Emma, as usual. Thank you very much, Timer. And to our last contestant, Toastmaster with the speech title, Are You Really Fine? Are You Really Fine? Toastmaster Ebele Elizabeth.
Fine. I am fine. The very first response I learned to the mega question, how are you? The contest here, dear Toastmasters and guests, permit me to ask you the same mega question. How are you?
I'm fine.
Come on, how are you? Say it like you mean it. How are you?
I am fine.
Yeah, so like most of you, I was conditioned to always give the response, I am fine. As a toddler, whether I was wet or dry, happy or cranky, hungry or satisfied, all I knew to respond was, I am fine. And then I became an adolescent. Of course my needs changed. Whether I was hot or whole, when I had my way, or when my mother called the shots, when my crush noticed me, or when he rather paid attention to my friend Amaka. Still, all I knew to respond was, I am fine. Alas, I became an adult because certain behavioral traits and habits never die. When my pockets was full, like Odogu, or when it was empty, when my boss nodded in approval, or when he lashed out in anger. when I found love, or when a maker used my heart to play football. By now you already know my response. My response was always, I am fine. So my mouth was conditioned to say something, but I wasn't giving a thought to what my heart, my mind, and my body was saying. Till I met my loving and beautiful neighbor, Mama Na. Our usual interactions were when we bumped into each other on my way to and from work. And for every time, for the 3 years we were neighbors, we bumped into each other, I was always sure to respond in the affirmative anytime she asked the mega question. But one day, something unusual happened. I stepped out of my house to pick up a delivery from a mailman. And as I headed back, I felt it. A strong grip on my shoulders. Had the mailman come for me? What business did he have other than delivering his mail to me? I mustered all the courage and turned to put a face to the presence I felt, only to be faced with a concerning smile from Mama Na. Lee, she said, are you really fine? This time around, it hit differently. Because for all she knew, I was always going to say, I am fine, to the mega question. But this time around, she was asking and wanted to know the truth behind the learned response. You see, we live in a world with high stakes, ambitions, expectations, and we think if we just say, I am fine, we will get by somehow. But sadly, as I learned, that's not always the case. So my lips parted, and my mouth still responded with the only response I had known to give all my life. I am fine. I felt it coming, and so I bade her farewell and ran with the speed of an antelope before the tears came gushing down my eyes. I got to my room and stood before a mirror, hoping to see what Mama Na had seen that warranted a twist to the mega question I had known to respond to all my life. That woman in the mirror, with the bulgy eyes, the red eyes, and the pale look, was not the woman I recognized. My body was saying something other than my learned response. My mind was saying something else too. Loss, defeat. And my heart, pain. Pain from 9 failed attempts of having a child of my own. You see, the state of anyone's mental health can always be masked by a smile and a simple response. But thanks to Mama Na, I got to look in the mirror and ask myself, are you really fine? Of course I wasn't. I was broken. I was shattered. I was depressed. And I was fading away. But my turning points came from the point of self-awareness. I knew I wasn't fine, and so I had to do something about it. What did I do? I wrote down a list of all those things that were not in my circle of control. I bumped it down and blew them to the heavens, promising myself never to take on any load that wasn't in my place to carry. And then I focused only on those things in my circle of control. Yes, like joining Toastmasters where I got to say it all out, and then joining salsa class where I discovered the magical therapy behind the art of the dance. In summary, I began to live. I began to blossom. And today, I stand before you with a reframed, evergreen question and a charge that you reflect on it, as it's able to take you to the point of self-awareness, where you can critically look at the pains and struggles you have bottled up, letting go things that are not in your control. Focus on only those things in your control, because challenges never end. Enjoy the beauty of now. Blossom because you can. Dear Toastmasters and guests, are you really fine? The contest.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, are we really fine?
No.
We're not sure at this moment.
Thank you very much. Timer. Thank you, timer. So our contestants, kindly join me at the left end. Our contestants, I'll appreciate to have you with me here. Our contestants, Toastmaster, yeah, right? Okay, while waiting for the Toastmaster, but before then, please can we give them a resounding applause? Thank you. So let me start with Toastmaster Leah. So what inspired the title The Power of Progress? Please, you have 30 seconds.
What inspired that title was how I've seen my journey here at Toastmasters. I started last year, I barely stand and look at everybody in the eye while speaking. So I wanted to use this as an opportunity to encourage any new member or potential members that the journey is not easy, it's not a straight journey, but if you dedicate yourself, put in the time and the effort, you would get what you need to get at the end of the day, which is to become a better speaker, a better communicator.
Thank you very much. Aspiring Toastmaster Michelle, I hope you are hearing, you heard that. Thank you. And to Toastmaster Elizabeth Ebele Eluo. Your favorite quote, enjoy the beauty of now. Why enjoy the beauty of now?
Because many a times,
You have 30 seconds.
why enjoy the beauty of now? Because a lot of times we are saddled with what the future holds. And forgetting the not, the future has itself to take care of. And then we forget that there is a now to live, the present to live. The future may not be certain as much as we think, but there is a now to live. And so we let moments pass by, forgetting that every moment spent is a moment that should count in our lives. So it's a clarion to enjoy the beauty of now. Now is beautiful. As much as you want to paint the future, there is beauty in the now. And then we should always so enjoy the now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Toastmaster Alebioshun Rewan Adeyemi. Your favorite quotes. Q Sarah Sarah. Q Sarah Sarah. Why Q Sarah Sarah? Q Sarah Sarah. I'm not Spanish, so.
It's K Sarah Sarah. Usually, let me start with this quote. Yesterday was a cancelled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is already cash. Spend it well. Because eventually, what will be. That's what the case has. So don't worry. Just live your life to the fullest. Everything is taken care of.
Thank you very much. And to our wonderful Toastmaster Ahmed Muazu, your notable accomplishments or award in Toastmasters of becoming becoming the third place table topic contest. How do you feel when the award was presented to you?
Actually, that was my first time of ever contesting for the speech. I thought I did well. When they called me the third place, I actually didn't know that third place was in Toastmasters was like a bet actually. And that is where my speech of the day, that it does not really matter. After all, when you are contesting against the president of your club, and coincidentally, I contested against him even the last time. So when I saw him today, I was like, contesting against my president, against my mentor.
Thank you very much. Toastmasters, thank you very much. With the thunderous applause, help me welcome Toastmaster Anna Dazi to come and present. So the Toastmaster Elizabeth Elue. Paparazzi. No, pump here so that she can capture you very well. I think it's okay. Toastmaster Rilwan Alebioshun. Toastmaster Leah Menyo. And Toastmaster Ahmed Wan. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anadati. All right, thank you very much. Chief Judge, any good news? Okay. While waiting for our Chief Judge, I would like to invite, there is this wonderful aspirant, I don't know whether she's a Toastmaster or aspiring Toastmaster. staring at me. Probably I'll use the opportunity to invite her to the lectern to express herself within 1 to 2 minutes. Please, with a wonderful full applause or generous applause, let's welcome Master Vivian. Please, you can have your seat.
Okay.
You can have your seat. So, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You look stressed.
Yes.
Well done. Introduce yourself within 5 to 10 seconds.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Guests.
Good evening.
I'm happy to be here today. Before now, I've met quite a number of you, wonderful people. So my name is Vivian Daniel. I'm a staff of the Central Bank in Payments System Policy Department. And coming to Toastmasters, I'm very happy meeting these wonderful people. And I hope that someday I'll be like all my people here.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much. So, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food is tuwon shinkafa and miyan gyaɗa.
Tuwon shinkafa da miyan gyada. Please, can you, within 1 to 2 minutes, can you highlight how we prepare this wonderful food so that in case I want to prepare myself, I'll take advantage.
Can't get married.
Okay. So, tuwon shinkafa, as it is called, is a grain. It's rice actually, rice that is not parboiled, and it is boiled in the Hausa way. It's the Hausa food, popularly known with the Hausa people. So you put your pot on the fire, boil water, wash your rice on boiled rice, put into the water, and then cook it. Then you turn it with a stick. You have your food, just like we call it swallow in conventional way. For the soup, miyan gyada, it's just groundnut soup. And groundnut soup is made from leaves, vegetables, and then groundnut paste. So that too, you have your chicken or fish or any protein you want to add to. You take it to the boil, wash your leaves very well with salt, and then add to it your other ingredients, spices, and whatever you want to add to. Then add your groundnut paste, and then you have your miyan gyada. Bring it to you cook it, and then you have your miyan gyada. So that is tuwon shinkafa and miyan gyada.
Thank you very much. Chief Judge, are we good? Please, with the resounding applause, let's welcome our Chief Judge to the lecture. Security force behind you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Congratulations once again to all the contestants. The results are out. Our beavers functioned very well. But unfortunately, we had the time disqualification. However, that did not affect the result. So I'd like to hand over the result to the contest chair.
Thank you very much.
This time they handing over to APC or APC handing over to INEC.
Thank you. Please don't go. I would like you to present present the award for the evaluators or the evaluation contest. Okay.